How did one court hearing turn me from the scared wife into the liar in front of everyone? What happens when the judge asks one simple question and my husband calmly plays the proof I thought he could never get? Why did the paper I used to control him become the paper that ended me? Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. My name is Verena Calder. I was 34 and I worked as an admin coordinator at a dental clinic. People thought my life was tidy. I liked that. I liked clean lines, clean photos, clean stories. I liked being the one who decided what others saw. Evan was my husband. He was 36. He worked with computers and data. He was the type who remembered dates and times. He used calm words, even when he was hurt. I used that calm against him. I told myself he was cold. I said a cold man deserved distance. The first time he looked at me like he did not know me was in our kitchen, early morning. The light was pale. Milo's cereal bowl was on the table, half full, because he got distracted and left it. Sophie's cup was still sticky from juice. Normal mess. Normal life. Evan asked why I was up late again. I said the clinic was short-staffed, and I had messages to answer. He asked why my phone was face down. I said I liked privacy and he should respect it. He asked why I smelled like a new perfume. I said a coworker gave me a sample. I spoke fast, like speed could make lies solid. He did not shout. He did not slam anything. He only watched me. He nodded once, like he was saving my words in a file. That made my skin feel hot. I hated that feeling, so I pushed it back onto him. I told him he was acting paranoid. I said he was making problems. I said I was tired and he was not being supportive. When I used the word supportive, I felt powerful. It sounded like I was the good one. He just asked if we could talk after the kids went to bed. I said we already were talking, and he was ruining the morning. After that, he moved his mug away from mine on the counter. It was small, but I saw it. I pretended I did not. I told myself he was being dramatic. I told myself I had done nothing real yet. That is how I talked in my head. I used the word real like a shield. At work, I was different. I smiled more. I laughed at small jokes. I walked faster in the hallway. The clinic smelled like mint and disinfectant. The phones rang all day. I liked the noise because it covered my thoughts. Noah Pierce started coming in more often. He was a sales rep who brought supplies and samples. He had warm eyes and easy words. He looked at me like I was interesting, not like I was late with laundry. He said I seemed stressed. I said home was heavy. He said I deserved fun. I said I had not had fun in years. I told myself I was not doing anything wrong by talking. I told myself talking was not cheating. I said Evan had made me lonely. I said a woman could not be blamed for needing attention. I did not say those things out loud to Evan, because they would sound ugly. I kept them inside, polished, like stones in my pocket. One afternoon, Noah just happened to stop by when the front desk was quiet. He asked if I could help him find the clinic manager. I said the manager was busy. Noah lowered his voice and asked if I wanted coffee later. I said maybe. I acted unsure, like I had standards. In my head, I was already saying yes. When the clinic got busy again, I slipped into the supply room to check my phone. Noah had sent a short message with a coffee emoji and a time. My heart jumped. I smiled at the shelves like they were friends. That evening, I told Evan I needed to work late. He asked if the manager asked me to stay. I said yes, and I added a small sigh to make it sound true. He asked if I could show him the schedule. I said he was not my boss. He asked why my voice sounded sharp. I said he was pushing me. He stopped asking. I felt a quick win. The coffee shop near the clinic was bright and simple. It had tall windows and quiet music. I chose a table where people could see me, because I liked being seen, but I also liked the idea that it looked normal. Noah arrived with a grin. He asked if Evan trusted me. I said Evan had issues and always doubted me. Noah asked if I was happy. I said I did everything for my family and got nothing back. He talked about freedom like it was a product you could buy. He said some men were lucky to have any wife at all. I liked that. It made me feel like a prize again. I told him I was not the kind of woman who cheated. Even as I said it, I felt the lie slide into place. It was smooth. Noah asked if I could meet him again. I said I would see. I left the shop feeling light, like my feet did not touch the sidewalk. On the drive home, I rehearsed my face. I practiced looking tired. I practiced being the good wife who carried too much. At home, the house was quiet. Milo was drawing at the table. Sophie was stacking blocks on the floor. Evan was on the stair landing, not fully upstairs, not fully down. He looked like he was waiting, without wanting to admit he was waiting. He asked how work went. I said it was awful, and I saved the clinic from chaos. He asked why my phone was on silent. I said patients were calling and I needed focus. He asked if I was seeing someone. I laughed. I made it a short laugh, like he had made a joke. I said he was being crazy. I said he needed therapy. He did not react like I expected. He did not beg. He did not accuse. He only said he wanted honesty, because he did not want to live in a house with secrets. The word secrets hit me. It sounded like a door closing. I turned it into an attack. I said he wanted to control me. I said he was jealous because I was doing well at work. I said he was insecure. I watched his face for anger, because anger would help my story. But his face stayed flat, and that scared me more than anger. As I talked, his phone lit up on the counter. I saw a calendar reminder flash for a second. It said, downtown, 10:40 a.m. I did not know what it meant. I only knew it was not about me, and I did not like that. Evan tapped the screen and turned it away. Later, when the kids were in bed, he asked if we could sit and talk. I said I was exhausted. He asked if I was hiding something. I said he was making me feel unsafe in my own home. I liked using that word, unsafe. It made him look bad without me proving anything. He stepped back. He said he would not argue if I felt unsafe. He said he would sleep in the guest room for now. He said it calmly, like a rule. My chest tightened. I wanted him to fight, because fighting would mean he still needed me. I walked past him and went upstairs alone. In our bedroom, I heard a soft beep from downstairs, like an app starting. I froze for a moment, then I told myself it was nothing. I told myself he was too soft to do anything serious. But I still lay in the dark with my phone in my hand, and I did not feel like a winner. The next day I acted normal. I packed Milo's lunch. I found Sophie's missing shoe. I kissed Evan's cheek like it was a habit, not a choice. He did not pull away, but he did not lean in either. He asked if I slept okay. I said I slept fine. I did not tell him my stomach felt tight all night. At the clinic, I had energy. It was the kind that comes from secrets. I moved fast, like speed meant I was right. In the break area, Cassidy Mott leaned on the counter and asked why I looked so awake. I said I had been doing everything alone at home. She asked if Evan helped with the kids. I said he helped, but he always made me feel guilty, like I owed him for basic things. I chose words that sounded fair. I left out the parts that made me look selfish. Cassidy said men like Evan loved control. She said quiet men were the worst because they looked calm while they punished you. I liked that idea. It made my fear sound smart. It made my anger sound like protection. I nodded and said I just wanted peace. I said Evan had a way of staring that made me feel small. Cassidy said I should not accept that. I watched myself in the small microwave door when it reflected my face. I looked like a tired woman. I looked believable. I practiced a soft voice. I told myself I was not lying. I told myself I was translating my feelings into truth. Noah came in around noon. He stood near the front desk like he belonged there. He asked if I could talk for a minute. I said I had a short break soon. He smiled and said he liked how organized I was. I said I had to be, because my life was heavy. He asked what time I was off. I said late. He asked if Evan asked questions. I said he asked too many. Noah said I deserved someone who trusted me. I did not correct him. That evening, Cassidy texted about a rooftop bar. She said we needed a reset night. I told Evan it was a work thing, because technically it was people from work. He asked who would be there. I said a few friends. He asked if Noah would be there. I said I did not know, and I made my voice sharp like he had insulted me. He said he was just asking. I said he always assumed the worst. He did not argue. He only asked what time I would be home. I said I did not know. He said the kids needed a bedtime plan. I said he could handle one night. I hated that he sounded like the adult, and I sounded like the teenager, so I made it his fault. I said he was acting like my manager. He said he would put the kids to bed and ask me to drive safe. That calm kindness made me angry. It did not match my story. The rooftop bar was loud. The city lights looked like a screen behind us. Cassidy ordered drinks and took photos right away. She asked me to pose with my chin up like a woman who had won. I did it. My sister Brenna arrived later with a bright smile. She asked where Evan was. I said he was home being moody. Brenna rolled her eyes and said he always acted like the world was against him. A few coworkers were there too. They asked how my marriage was. I said Evan and I were working on things. Cassidy laughed and said Evan loved to lecture. I said he did. I said he tried to turn every talk into a trial, like he was the judge. People laughed. It felt warm, like being on the right side of a crowd. Evan did not call. I checked my phone more than I wanted to admit. I told myself I did not care. I told myself I was free. Still, every time the screen stayed dark, I felt a small sting. Later, Noah appeared like it was natural. He said he was meeting a friend. He stood close enough that my shoulder felt heat. Cassidy noticed and gave me a look like she was proud. Brenna asked Noah who he was. I said he was a vendor from the clinic. Noah asked if Evan was okay with me being out. I said Evan had to learn to be okay with it. Noah said I was strong. I liked that word too. Cassidy took a group photo. Evan was not there, but I still found a way to include him. I held up my phone and showed a picture of him from last month, one where he looked tired. I said it was proof I was married to a man who never smiled. Cassidy laughed and said I should trade him in. I laughed too. I felt powerful in that moment. I told myself it was just jokes. Brenna posted the photo within minutes. She tagged me and wrote something about me finally breathing. People reacted fast. I watched the likes climb. I felt like the world was picking my side. When I came home, it was past midnight. The house was quiet. Evan was not on the couch. He was not waiting on the stairs. That bothered me. I went to the kitchen for water and saw his mug alone near the sink. My mug was on the other side of the counter, like a line had been drawn. Evan came down from the guest room in socks, quiet. He asked if I had fun. I said yes. He asked who was there. I listed names and left out Noah. He did not ask again. He only said Milo had asked where I was. I said Milo would be fine. Evan said Milo cried a little. I said Evan was making Milo emotional by being tense. He looked at me for a long second. He asked why I always turned things back on him. I said he always blamed me first. He said he had not blamed me tonight. I said his silence was blame. I said he knew how to punish me without touching me. I watched his face when I said that. I wanted him to snap. He did not. In the morning, I went to the supermarket after work. I told Evan I needed groceries. He asked if I could pick up Milo's yogurt. I said yes. I liked that he still asked me for normal things because it meant I still mattered. Near the checkout, I saw Noah. He was holding a basket with snacks and energy drinks. He smiled like we were a secret club. I smiled back without thinking. Then I saw Evan at the end of the aisle, pushing a cart with Milo sitting in the child seat. Evan's eyes went to Noah, then to me. Milo waved at me. I waved back too fast, like waving could fix the moment. Noah stepped back and looked at his phone. He acted like he did not know me. I felt a flash of anger at him for being careful. Then I felt fear at Evan for seeing it. Evan did not walk over. He did not confront Noah. He only nodded at me, like a stranger nods in a hallway. At home that night, I went upstairs and listened. The guest room door was closed. I heard a low sound behind it for a moment, like paper being fed through something. Then I heard a shredder hum, short and steady. After that, silence again. I stood there with my hand on the railing and told myself he was just cleaning old bills. I told myself it meant nothing. But my stomach did not agree. Saturday came with a soft winter sun, and I decided we should go to the park like a normal family. I told myself it would prove something. If we looked normal, then we were normal. That was my rule. Evan packed snacks without asking me. He cut apples and put them in a container. He filled 2 water bottles and lined them up by the door. He moved like a man who did not want to waste words. I watched him and felt annoyed because he looked responsible. That made my story harder. On the drive, Milo asked why Dad slept in the guest room. Evan glanced at me in the mirror, like he was waiting to see what I would do. I answered first. I said Dad needed space because he got stressed. Milo asked if Dad was mad at me. I said Dad was mad at everything lately. Evan stayed quiet. I told myself his quiet was proof. At the playground, Evan kept his distance from me. He stood near the slide when Sophie climbed. He pushed Milo on the swing and counted softly. I sat on a bench and watched other mothers watching us. I wanted them to see me as the tired wife who tried her best. Evan came over after a while and asked if we could talk privately for a minute. I said we were in public, and he always chose bad times. He said he wanted peace, not a fight. I said he always said that, but then he judged me. He asked if I could stop telling the kids that he was mad. I said I was only being honest. He said the kids did not need adult labels. I said he was policing my words. He asked if I was seeing someone. I laughed again, like I had in the kitchen. I said he was obsessed. I said he was making me feel trapped. He asked what he had done that was trapping me. I said his questions were trapping me. He did not raise his voice. That made me more restless, like I could not find the right button to press. A mother from Milo's class walked by and said hello. I smiled big. I asked how her week was. I acted light. Evan nodded politely. When she left, I leaned closer to Evan and said he should not interrogate me in public. He said he was not interrogating me. He said he was asking for honesty in our marriage. I said honesty did not mean he could monitor me. He looked at the ground for a second. Then he said we should focus on co-parenting and routines if we could not talk without hurting each other. I heard the word routines and felt like he was building a wall. I wanted him to chase me, not organize me. After the park, I said I needed to run errands. Evan asked if I could pick up Milo's school forms from my bag. I said I would later. He said the deadline was soon. I said he could handle it since he cared so much about paper. His jaw tightened for a moment, but he still did not argue. I went to the gym that afternoon. I told Evan I needed time for myself, and I said it like it was a medical need. He asked what time I would be back for dinner. I said I did not know. He said the kids needed a plan. I said he could feed them and stop acting like I was the only parent who had limits. He nodded once, like he was filing my words away again. The gym lobby smelled like rubber mats and citrus cleaner. I checked in and pretended I was focused. I told myself I was improving my life. I told myself Evan would regret taking me for granted. Then I saw Noah near the smoothie fridge. Noah asked if I came here often. I said sometimes. He asked if Evan still acted weird. I said Evan had trust issues and liked to play victim. Noah said a woman like me should not be stuck with a man who drained her. I said I was not stuck. I said I was choosing patience. I liked how noble that sounded. Noah asked if we could talk somewhere quieter later. I said maybe, and I acted careful. He smiled like he already had what he wanted. I felt both proud and nervous. I told myself I was not cheating, not really. I said I was just finding myself. That night, Cassidy invited us to a house party. She said it would be fun and normal. I told Evan we should go because people would ask questions if we did not. He asked if I wanted him there. I said yes, but I said it in a way that sounded like a duty, not a desire. The party was crowded. Music was loud. People stood close with drinks in their hands. I felt the energy of a crowd, and I liked it. In crowds, truth bends easier. Evan stood near the kitchen counter and talked to a guy about work. He looked polite. He looked almost calm. That irritated me, because it made him look good. Cassidy came over and asked if Evan was being cold again. I said he always did that thing where he tried to punish me with silence. Cassidy laughed and said he sounded fragile. Brenna lifted her phone and started recording little clips for her story. I walked up to Evan while people watched. I asked him, in a light voice, why he was acting like a stranger at a party. He said he was just standing and listening. I said he always acted like he was above everyone. He said he was not above anyone. I said he was always judging me. He asked what he had judged tonight. I said his face judged me. Someone nearby chuckled. I felt encouraged. I said he should relax before he scared people with his mood. Evan looked around at the faces. He did not yell. He did not leave in a storm. He only said he did not want to argue at a friend's house. He asked if we could talk later at home. I said he always wanted private talks so he could control the story. That got a few laughs, and the laughs felt like a shield around me. On the way home, Evan drove. The kids were at his mother's for the night, so the car was too quiet. Evan asked why I spoke about him like that in front of others. I said he embarrassed me first by acting cold. He said he had not embarrassed me. I said his silence was a weapon. He said he was trying to keep things calm. I said he was faking calm to make me look crazy. He asked me to stop using big words like unsafe and scared in public when he had not threatened me. I said he could not tell me how I felt. He said feelings mattered, but facts also mattered. I hated that word, facts. It sounded like something I could lose to. When we got home, Evan went to the guest room. I followed him halfway down the hall and watched him open the door. He did not slam it. He did not lock it while I watched. He only said goodnight. I went downstairs later for water and saw his laptop open on the dining table. A spreadsheet was on the screen, but I could not see the title. Next to it, there was a neat stack of folders labeled Utilities, Bank, and School. I touched the edge of one folder like it was hot. I heard a drawer close from the guest room, and then I heard a small click, like a lock turning. I told myself he was being dramatic. I told myself he was trying to scare me with organization. But then his laptop made a soft sound, and a small message popped up in the corner that said a file had uploaded successfully. I stared at it longer than I wanted to. I went to bed and held my phone close. I opened Noah's messages and started typing, then stopped. For the first time in days, I felt like I was not the one writing the story anymore. The week after the party, I started to speak about Evan like he was a risk. I did it in small ways first. I used soft words that sounded careful. I said he was tense. I said he was unpredictable. I said it with a sad face, like I was worried for him, not angry at him. At home, Evan stayed polite. He made breakfast for the kids. He washed dishes without comment. He texted me simple questions about pickup times and homework. He did not ask where I went. He did not ask about Noah again. That should have calmed me, but it did the opposite. If Evan did not chase me, then I could not call him the villain. So I started to build one. My mother called me one morning while I was getting Milo's jacket on. She asked why I sounded tired all the time. I said I carried the whole house, and Evan acted like I was the problem. She asked what he did. I said he questioned me and watched me and made me feel small. She said I should not live like that. I said I knew. I felt my voice turn serious, and I liked how it sounded. Later that day, we met for dinner at a family restaurant. It was one of those places with a long table and loud plates and too much light. My mum wanted everyone there. My dad came, Brenna came. Evan's mother, Janet, came with Evan's brother, Lucas. Evan came last, with Milo holding his hand and Sophie half asleep on his shoulder. Evan asked if we could keep dinner calm for the kids. I said of course, like I was the reasonable one. When the food arrived, people tried small talk. Milo talked about school. Sophie played with her napkin. I watched Evan's hands. They were steady. I wanted them to shake. My mom asked how we were doing. Evan said we were having a hard time, and he wanted respect on both sides. I jumped in fast. I said Evan had been acting strange. I said he stared at me and asked questions and made me feel unsafe. I did not say he hit me. I did not say he broke laws. I kept it in the grey, because grey is harder to disprove. Janet asked what I meant by unsafe. I said I did not want to explain in front of the children. Lucas asked if Evan had ever threatened me. I said threats were not always words. I said pressure could be a threat. Evan looked at me like he was trying to see where I got those lines. He asked me, quietly, what exact moment I was talking about. I said he knew. I said he always played innocent. My sister nodded hard and said Evan always had a dark mood. Cassidy was not there, but I could hear her voice in my head. I felt the table lean toward me. That feeling was strong. It made me braver. Evan asked if we could talk after dinner, alone, and with clear rules. I said he wanted a private space to twist my words. Evan's mother said the kids needed peace, not drama. My mom said a woman's feelings mattered. My dad stared at his plate. Milo looked between us like he was watching a game he did not understand. When we left, Evan carried Sophie to the car. He buckled her in carefully. Milo climbed in and asked if we were still a family. Evan said we were still Milo's parents and we loved him. I cut in and said yes, of course, but Dad needed to stop being so intense. Evan did not answer. He drove home with both hands on the wheel. At home, I told myself I had to protect my image now. It was not just about Evan. It was about the way people looked at me. If they thought I cheated, I would lose power. If they thought I was scared, I would gain it. That is the math I used. The next day at the clinic, my manager called me into the small office by the supply closet. She asked why I seemed distracted lately. I said my marriage was stressful. She asked if I was safe. I hesitated on purpose, like I was choosing my words carefully. Then I said I did not always feel safe. Her face changed. That face was a door opening. She asked if I needed time off. I said I might. I said I did not want drama, but I might need help. I watched her nod. I watched her write something down. I told myself this was not lying. I told myself I was building support. In the break area later, coworkers asked why I had red eyes. I said I had not slept. I said Evan had been watching me and questioning me. I said I felt trapped. I did not mention Noah. I did not mention the rooftop bar. I made Evan the center of the story because it kept the spotlight off my choices. After work, I went to the school pickup line. The air was cold. Parents stood close with their phones and coffee cups. One mum from Milo's class asked if Evan was coming to the winter event. I smiled and said I was not sure because things were tense at home. She asked what happened. I said I did not want to gossip, and then I gossiped anyway. I said Evan had been scaring me with his quiet moods. I said I was trying to keep the kids calm. She looked shocked, the good kind of shocked. She said she was sorry. I said thank you, like I was the victim. As I said it, I felt something twist inside me, but I pushed it down. I told myself I was doing what I had to do. That night, Evan asked for the kids' schedule for the next week. He said he wanted to make sure he did pickups and homework on his days. I said he was acting like a robot again. He said he wanted stability. He asked if we could agree on simple rules for the kids. I said he was trying to make me look unstable. He asked why I always took cooperation as an attack. I said because I knew him. He did not argue. He opened his phone and showed me a reminder, but he turned it away before I could read it. I caught the words, paper drop, and a time. I pretended I did not see. My chest got tight again. The next morning, I made a decision. I told myself I needed something official to keep Evan in line. I told myself it would be temporary, just enough to scare him into apologizing. I told myself he deserved it for making me feel judged. I did not call it revenge. I called it protection. I went out during my lunch break and filled out forms in a plain office with grey walls. I kept my story simple and emotional. I said Evan's questions felt like threats. I said his quiet felt like intimidation. I said I worried for my children when he looked cold. The person at the desk asked for dates and details. I gave half-truths and soft blanks. I signed my name with a steady hand. When I got back home that night, Evan was in the living room helping Milo with a worksheet. Sophie was colouring. Evan looked up and asked if we could talk later. I said no, not tonight. He nodded and went back to the worksheet like nothing happened. I stood in the doorway and watched him. He looked like a normal father. He looked like a man who had no idea I had just pulled a lever that could change everything. For 1 second, I felt sick. Then my phone buzzed with a message from Noah asking if I was okay, and the sick feeling turned into anger again. I told myself Evan forced me into this. I told myself I had no choice. I went upstairs, closed the bedroom door, and started planning what I would say when people asked why Evan suddenly had to keep his distance. The change hit on a Tuesday morning, like a new rule in the air. Evan did not wake me. He did not make coffee for both of us anymore. He made it for himself, and the smell stayed in the kitchen, not in our bedroom. When I came downstairs, Milo was already in his coat, and Sophie was chewing toast with her hair messy. Evan asked if I could confirm pickup for Thursday. I said he was acting like a calendar, not a husband. He said the kids needed a plan either way. I kept telling myself I had won something. People were starting to treat me gently. My mother called me brave. Brenna sent me heart emojis. Cassidy said I finally had power. That should have made me feel safe, but it made me hungry. If people believed my story, I had to keep it alive. I could not let Evan look normal again. The first time Evan followed the new distance rule in public, it annoyed me more than any argument. We met in the office tower lobby near his work, because it had cameras and bright lights and people coming and going. He arrived early with the kids. Milo ran to me and hugged my waist. Sophie clung to Evan's leg for a second before she stepped toward me. Evan stayed back, hands visible, polite face, neutral voice. He asked if I had Milo's school folder. I said yes. He asked if Sophie had her mittens. I said she did. He asked what time I would bring them back. I gave a vague answer on purpose. He repeated the question, not louder, just clearer. I felt my cheeks burn. I said he was being controlling again. He said he was only trying to avoid confusion. There were people in suits walking by. A security guard glanced over once and then looked away. Evan did not try to move closer. He did not try to talk about us. He only said the kids' comfort came first and asked me to text the time so it was written. I wanted him to beg. I wanted him to plead for my forgiveness so I could look generous. But he only nodded and stepped back like a professional. In the car after, I stared at the lobby doors and told myself his calm was fake. I said he was doing it to look good. I said he was acting like a victim. I texted Cassidy and said Evan was performing innocence. Cassidy replied that this was what manipulators did. I liked that answer. It gave me a label I could use. At the clinic, the air felt different around me. People spoke softer. My manager asked if I needed a shorter shift. I said I was handling it, but it was hard. I did not say what it was. I let them fill in the blanks with fear. During lunch, Noah messaged me. He asked if everything was getting serious. I told him he was not involved. I told him it was just stress with Evan. I did not tell him I had already used words that could pull other people into my story. I did not want Noah to get nervous, because nervous men disappear, and I needed him to feel like a reward. We met near the pharmacy after work, because it was easy and it looked normal. I stood in line with a basket of children's cough syrup and vitamins I did not really need. Noah stood behind me, too close, whispering. He asked if Evan was angry. I said Evan was the type to punish with silence. Noah asked if he could do something. I said no, because I did not want Noah doing anything messy. I wanted Evan trapped by rules, not by chaos. A woman in front of me turned and looked at us, maybe because Noah's voice was low. I shifted my body to block Noah. It made me realize how quickly a small moment could change a story. I felt a quick fear, then I forced it into anger at Evan again. If I had to hide, it was Evan's fault for pushing me. That night, Milo asked if Dad could come inside when he dropped them off. Milo's eyes were careful, like he expected the wrong answer to start a fire. I said Dad had to follow the rules right now. Milo asked if Dad was bad. I said no, Dad was not bad, but Dad made Mommy feel stressed. Evan heard it from the hallway because he was standing at the door, keeping distance. He did not correct me in front of Milo. He only told Milo he loved him and would see him soon. When Evan left, Sophie cried for a minute and then went quiet. She carried her stuffed rabbit to the couch and stared at the TV without watching it. That quiet made me feel like I was losing something I did not mean to gamble. I tried to get control back the only way I knew. I posted online again. I wrote vague lines about finally choosing safety and learning boundaries. I did not name Evan, but everyone knew. Cassidy commented supportive words fast. Brenna shared it. My mother texted that she was proud. Evan did not respond publicly. He did not message me with anger. He texted one sentence about Milo's homework and one sentence about Sophie's preschool snack day. Then he stopped. That silence felt like a door closing in my face. The next time we exchanged the kids, Evan chose the supermarket parking lot. Bright lights, cameras, people with carts. He arrived with Milo's backpack packed neatly. He handed it to me without stepping close. He asked if Milo could call him before bed. I said Evan was using the kids to guilt me. Evan said he was only asking for a routine, so Milo felt stable. I said Evan always hid behind routine to control me. He nodded once and said he would text the call time, so there was no confusion. I looked at him and tried to find the old Evan, who would argue. I tried to find the man who would say, "Please, just talk to me." But Evan's eyes looked tired in a different way now. Not sad tired, finished tired. Later that week, I heard him in the guest room while I walked past the door. I heard a soft beep, then silence, like a device starting and stopping. I smelled faint toner again in the hallway at night. In the kitchen, I noticed a new key on his ring when he came to pick up the kids. He tucked it away quickly, like it was not my business. My fear sharpened, so I called my mother and told her Evan was plotting. She said that was what men did when they lost control. She said I should stay strong. Brenna said I should keep posting my truth. Cassidy said calm men were the most dangerous kind. I held those words like armor. Then Noah started pulling back. He replied slower. He said he had a lot going on. He asked if Evan could come after him. I said no, because I wanted to believe that. I told Noah he was overthinking. He did not laugh. He only said he did not want drama. That sentence felt like a slap, because I realized I was the drama now. On Friday evening, Evan arrived for the kids in the driveway. The sky was grey. The air smelled like cold rain. He stayed on the edge of the property line, like he was measuring distance with his body. Milo ran to him and stopped short, looking at me for permission. I nodded like a queen allowing a hug. Evan hugged Milo carefully and told him he would see him on Sunday at the usual time. Sophie reached for Evan, then looked at me, then hid behind my leg. Evan's face flickered for a second like it hurt. He covered it fast. I tried one more time to poke him. I said he seemed very confident for someone who did what he did. Evan looked at me, calm and flat, and asked what I meant. I said he knew what I meant. He said he did not want to argue and would follow every rule exactly. Then he paused, like he was choosing one sentence that mattered. He said he would handle it properly. The courthouse lobby smelled like old paper and floor cleaner. People sat on hard benches with tired faces. I held my phone like it could protect me. My mother sat beside me and squeezed my arm. She said I should stay strong. I nodded, even though my mouth felt dry. Evan arrived with his mother and his brother. He wore the same plain jacket he wore to school events. He did not look at me. He spoke to the clerk in a calm voice. The clerk asked for names. Evan gave his without drama. I wanted him to look nervous. He did not. When we went into the courtroom, the room felt colder. The judge sat high and looked bored, like she had seen every kind of story already. I sat up straight and tried to look small at the same time. I wanted to look harmed without looking weak. That was always my goal. The judge asked why I filed. I said I felt unsafe and pressured. I said Evan questioned me, watched me, and trapped me with his quiet. The judge asked for dates. I gave 2 dates and said I could not remember every moment because I was stressed. The judge asked what he did on those dates. I said he stood too close and stared. The judge asked if he ever touched me or threatened me. I said no, but fear was still fear. Evan spoke when the judge allowed him. He said he would follow every rule and wanted the court to see clear facts. He said he did not want to attack me, but he needed the record to be true. The judge asked what facts he had. Evan said he brought receipts and logs. His brother handed him a folder, and Evan placed it on the table. He did not slam it. He did not point at me. He only asked permission to show items in order. The judge allowed it. Evan showed a timeline. He said he used phone records, building entry logs, and school sign-out sheets. The judge asked how he got them. Evan said he requested what he was allowed to request and kept copies of messages. The judge nodded, like that made sense. The judge asked me about a time I claimed Evan followed me after work. Evan showed a building lobby log that listed his badge entry at his office at that same time. He also showed a security note from the office tower that matched the timestamp. The judge asked me how Evan could be in 2 places. I said logs could be wrong. The judge asked if I had proof they were wrong. I said no. Then Evan showed messages from me to Cassidy and Brenna. They were not romantic messages. They were planning messages. The judge asked what they were. I said they were jokes. The judge asked why my message used the words I later used in my report. I said I talked to my friends when I was scared. The judge asked why the messages sounded like a script. I did not answer fast enough. Evan showed another set of messages, and my throat tightened. The name was Noah. The judge asked who Noah was. I said he was a clinic vendor. Evan said Noah was also the man I met in private while I claimed Evan was harassing me. The judge asked if that was true. I said I was allowed to have friends. The judge asked why I hid it. I said Evan was jealous and I did not want to fight. Evan did not react. He only looked at the judge. The judge asked me again, very simply, if I cheated. I tried to avoid the word. I said my marriage was complicated. The judge said she needed a yes or no. My mouth opened, and I said yes. My mother made a small sound behind me. Brenna stared at the floor. The judge said my claims did not match my own timeline, my messages, or the logs. She said the temporary restriction would be lifted. She said she was warning me that false statements had consequences. She said I would pay part of Evan's costs for today. Evan asked for one thing only, a clear parenting schedule starting immediately so the kids had stability. The judge agreed, read the schedule into the record, and told me to sign that I understood the warning. I took the pen, and my hand shook as the clerk slid the paper toward me.